It's Overreaction Monday here in the NFL, and boy, do we have some overreactions to get into. And quite frankly, I don't even know if they're overreactions at this point. I'm Harrison Graham. Bears fall to 0-2 after their loss yesterday to the Buccaneers, 27-17. And before we dive into some of those overreactions, who's the problem? At least, who's the biggest problem? And yeah, Luke Getsy, that photo is just cropped brutally, so you're a little smaller than the rest here, buddy. Justin Fields, if you think he's the biggest problem, type JF. If you think it's head coach Matt Eberflus, type ME. If it's Luke Getsy, the offensive coordinator, type LG. Or maybe you think it's the general manager who put this roster together. If so, type RP. Let me know. Curious to see what you guys think who the main problem is for the Bears. All right, Overreaction Monday. Let's dive into some topics here. Are the Bears going to move on from Justin Fields? 3 Smokin' Jays, I think it's pretty likely. And now, let me be clear about the Smokin' Jay rumor meter. 3 Smokin' Jays, pretty likely, not a guarantee. That's based on how things are right now. It's not completely over yet. But I'd be lying if I said I'm not losing faith. I'm losing faith in this quarterback. Now, we can talk about Luke Getsy, and we will, and I don't think he's playing to Fields' strengths, and I think they're trying to make him too much of a pocket passer. There's a lot of blame to go around. But the tape just shows that he just will not pull the trigger when guys are open too often. Now, you never have flawless film. You're never going to go through a game and not miss something if you're a quarterback. I don't care if you're Tom Brady. I don't care if you're Nathan Peterman. It's never going to look perfect. But it's just too spotty. The opening drive yesterday was awesome. The drive to cut it to 3 was awesome, but everything else is just like the footwork is slow. It's choppy. He's not pulling the trigger to throw the football. Like 16 of 29 for 211 with the touchdown and 2 picks kind of tells the story. It's like there's some good in there, but not nearly good enough to be a high-level starter in this league. I still like Justin Fields. I think if you lean into his running more, that could help. But can we sit here and say he looks like a franchise quarterback? He's 5-22 as a starter. Like at some point, like it just may not work out. And the reality is he's just been way too inconsistent to start this year. The highs have been pretty good. I thought he had an awesome 3-throw sequence on that touchdown to Chase Claypool that ended in that, I should say, to cut it to 3 points. That was the best 3-throw sequence of his career. I really do believe that. It looked awesome. And then I'm still pissed at Luke Getsy for not giving him a better chance on that final drive when you're down 3. But if it continues like this, if it's this up and down and it's inconsistent, like he won't be the long-term answer. I want him to be. I've defended this guy. I love Justin Fields, the guy, and I like the player. But it's too inconsistent for me at this point in time. Like, it just has to be better. I'm not off the ledge yet. That's why it's 3 Smokin' Jays, not 4. But the way it's trending, it's not trending in a good direction. I think there are a few ways to help Justin Fields. Please run him more. That is number one. I said that going into the Tampa game. They refused to do it. He had 4 carries for 3 yards. Ridiculous. You got to force feed DJ Moore. Producer Rolly and I were saying this during the watch party. Like, if I'm Luke Getsy, I am pulling Justin Fields to the side and I'm saying, I don't care what the reads are supposed to be that we've taught you them. You look at DJ Moore first. He's the first read because he consistently gets open. And yeah, if he's double teamed and bracketed, get to your second read. But that means someone else probably is open. So force feed DJ Moore. It's got to be 10-plus targets a game. 7 targets in week 2 is better than 2 targets in week 1. But it's still not nearly enough. He's been targeted 9 times this year and has 8 catches. The guy's good at football. Get him the ball. And then Luke Getsy, cut out the conservative crap. Your quarterback puts together an awesome drive to cut it to 3, and then you get the ball back down 3, and you call back-to-back screen plays, one which results in a pick 6. I would rather sink with Justin Fields throwing the ball downfield in those situations than to run this conservative garbage. Help your quarterback and let him sink or swim. And if he sinks, then hey, you go get a new quarterback next year. That's how this works. Be honest with me, Bears fans. Have you given up on Justin Fields? Have you completely given up? I'm not fully there yet. Is it trending bad? Am I losing a lot of confidence? Yeah, I've lost a lot of confidence. I'm not completely off the ledge, but if it continues this way, he will not be the quarterback long term. Type Y for yes, you've given up. Type N for no if you have not. Okay, Matt Eberflus, is he on the hot seat? The true answer is I don't actually know. So I'll give it 2 Smokin' Jays. I think he probably should be. Think about it. I don't care if last year is a complete overhaul, restructure year, rebuild, hell, a tank year if you want to call it. The bottom line is you're 3-16 as the head coach. Like at some point you have to win. You've lost 12 games in a row. I don't think, like we talked about this in the post game, and I'm going to say it again here. I don't think people realize like how uncommon that is. Teams don't go on 12-game losing streaks in the NFL left and right. It happens every once in a while. 12 in a row. Like you can get lucky sometimes and win a game. It's the NFL. It's pros versus pros. You should not lose 12 games in a row. The Bears have managed to do it. And by the way, it's going to be 13 because you're not going into Arrowhead next week and winning that game. More thoughts on Flus, more thoughts here on Overreaction coming up. But I do want to give some love to our sponsor. That is Marine Layer. You got to love how soft these shirts, these polos from Marine Layer are. It's like petting your cat, your dog. Very, very soft clothing here. And how many of you have felt that you are in between sizes when buying clothes? I know I've been there a lot of my life, and you know, maybe you've had a couple too many drinks recently, or maybe you're like producer Rolla and you've lost some weight and you're stuck. You're in between sizes right now. Well, what's cool about Marine Layer is they have in between sizes. You don't have to choose between medium and large. We're trying to make Marge a thing, that size in between medium and large, and that's what they offer. Whether you're going on a date, the office, or maybe you're keeping it casual, watching sports, watching Bears now, hopefully, Marine Layer has the best shirts for every occasion. And look, I think we can all admit the perfect tee can be hard to find. That's why you look no further than Marine Layer. I'm rocking the Asher print sweater button down in blue geo. It's finally starting to cool down here in Texas. This time of year, it's perfect. It's nice and snug, but still short sleeve, so it's perfect fall weather, if you will. I recommend this one, but there's perfect other shirts as well. Plenty of other shirts, I should say. You guys can get 15% off at ChatSports15 with that code ChatSports15. The link, marinelayer.com/chatsports15, code chatsports15, to get 15% off at checkout. That link will be in the comments and in the description. marinelayer.com/chatsports15, code chatsports15 to get 15% off. Let's get back to Matt Eberflus as we continue the conversation here. He called the defense on Sunday with Alan Williams, the defensive coordinator, out due to personal reasons. We hope everything is okay with Coach there. But when you evaluate Flus, he's 3-16 as a head coach, like I mentioned, and he's supposed to be this great defensive mind. Well, he called the defense. We're like, oh, maybe things will look different. It'll look better. You gave up 6.5 yards per play, 437 yards of total offense. You made Baker Mayfield, who played pretty well, I want to give him credit, look like a Pro Bowl level quarterback, 26 of 34, 317 in the air. Run defenses improved, but even this should have been way less. You were breaking tackle, or you were missing tackles left and right as the Bucs were breaking tackles. You still have 0 takeaways through 2 games, and the Bucs held the ball for 36 minutes. They continued to convert on the key downs. Look at this. Your third down defense through 2 games has given up 17 of 31 conversions. That's well over 50%. Good defenses allow less than 40% third down. You're giving up like 55%. It's pathetic. My point in all this is, what is Flus actually providing? His whole philosophy is the HITS principle. Hustle, intensity, take the ball away, and I can't even think of the S right now because the S should stand for shit because it's the shits principle. It's not good. Like, he's this defensive coach. No, it's not. Your defense was horrible last year. I get it. Bad personnel. Through 2 games, horrible this year, including 1 game that you called. What is he giving you? Like, you want your head coach to make a difference on game day. He doesn't do that. Like, he has not been able to do that. So I think he should be on the hot seat. Is he actually? I don't know. That's why I'm only giving it 2 smoking Jays. But you've lost 12 in a row. Like, at some point, if you're a head coach, it comes down to wins and losses. And you've got, I bet 3-16, by the way, is one of the worst starts to a coaching tenure in NFL history. I may go look that up later this week. All right, subscribe to the channel before we get to our next talking point here. Listen, we're a family here. It's frustrating times, but help us grow if you can. It's 100% free to hit that subscribe button. We crossed 72,000 subs during the watch party. Appreciate all of you. Producer Rolly and I greatly, greatly appreciate all the support. 100% free if you want daily videos, multiple videos per day with the latest Bears news, rumors, overreaction shows like this, live shows, and much more. We'll be live later this afternoon as well, so don't miss that. Lots to come here on the channel. All right, does Ryan Poles deserve blame? Because I think that's where this discussion needs to start heading as well, because I don't think he's free from this. I go for smoking Jays. Like, he absolutely is. There's no doubt about it. Now, would I put him at the top of that list? Remember I asked that question, Getsy, Fields, Poles, Eberflus, who blames the most? I would not put Poles at the top of that list. I think he has done some good things. But if you think Ryan Poles is free of blame from this, you're wrong. Like, number one, everyone deserves blame. And number two, he's made some mistakes. I think some calculated ones that haven't worked out, but it's not like he's been lighting it up in his personnel decisions. The Chase Claypool trade is just brutal. I mean, I was patient with it. I wanted to give this at least the start of this season a go. And yeah, he caught a touchdown yesterday. Congratulations. That's literally the only play he's made in 10 games as a Bear, 12, whatever it is. I know this, and I tweeted this out. The Bears have not won a game since they traded for Chase Claypool. That is a mind-boggling stat. You passed on Jalen Carter, which I actually defended. So if you, in the comments, Harrison, you said you were cool with him passing on. Yeah, I did. I'm not the GM though. That's up to Ryan Poles to make those decisions. Like, there were red flags there, and the Bears were not in a place in a rebuild to completely whiff there. But you know what? The guy looks awesome, and you've said it since you hired Matt Eberflus. He said it as this team's head coach that the 3-tech is the engine of this defense. Well, Jalen Carter might have been good at that. Well, we don't know. We can't risk it with the culture. What culture do you have? Your culture is you suck, and you're a losing franchise. So, like, the more you think about it, you're like, you couldn't take the risk because you didn't know if you'd be a culture fit. You don't have a culture until you start winning. So that's looking brutal, even though I do like Darnell Wright. And then that last one there, you took Velus Jones in the third round last year. That was just a whiff. Like, it wasn't a good pick at the time. It hasn't proven to be a good pick. Just not good at all. And by the way, things that I actually kind of like still aren't proven out. Kyler Gordon, for example, I liked the pick at the time, but he struggled as a rookie, and now he's injured. That's a question mark. That was your first pick as this team's GM. Jaquan Brisker, I think he's a nice player, but it's not like he's a all-pro level safety. Like, there's still questions there. The two defensive tackles this year you took on day two. Tyreek Stevenson, there's questions there, and I get it. Draft picks, you got to give it more time. So this year's class, not going to judge as much. But it's not like all these decisions he's made have really paid off. If anything, more have not paid off. Free agents, you brought in Tremaine Edmonds, $72 million. He looked like shit yesterday. That's your big fish signing so far. TJ Edwards just looks like another linebacker. Like, is that bad coaching? Like, there's a lot of things to point to with this franchise right now. There are a ton of question marks, and I'm not really sure what the solutions are at this point. Grade Ryan Poles as the Bears GM up to this point. A, B, C, D, or F. The thing I really like about him is that he got rid of a lot of bad contracts and reset the book. So even if you don't love him as a talent evaluator, he has done that well. So I'll give him like a C- for that. But otherwise, what can we point to that's been like, yeah, great job, Poles? Yeah, you got Carolina's first-round pick next year. You brought in DJ Moore, but if you're not going to use him to his full potential, then what's the point? So it's just a frustrating one. A, B, C, D, or F. Let us know what you guys think. And then we got to hit Getsy here, a little bonus here. He's just not the answer. I mean, I don't know if I would blame him most because it's hard to blame a coordinator over everyone else in a losing franchise, but he just has no feel for the game. Like, I think he has some interesting designs at times, but his situational play calling leaves a lot to be desired. And you have a young quarterback who is still struggling to find his way as a pocket passer, and you're trying to force him into being a pocket passer. Justin Fields should never go a game and have 4 carries for 3 yards. That is unacceptable. Lean into what he does well. You're not doing that. Why are you trying to make him something he's not yet and maybe never will be? Like, we know he's a dynamic runner. Get him on the edge and run him. And by the way, get him on the edge to throw the football, too. 2 of his best throws this season have been on the edge. The Darnell Mooney completion in week 1, and then the ball that got knocked away from Cole Kmet in week 2 is a perfect throw. Never went back to a concept like that. Makes no sense, and I got to triple down on it. I know I said it yesterday multiple times. I'm saying it again here. The sequence down 20-17 was just pathetic. You just saw your quarterback get into a groove, throwing the football downfield, 3 straight awesome throws that ended in a touchdown to Chase Claypool to cut it to 3. Your defense gets a stop. I get it, you're backed up inside your 10. You call back-to-back screen plays. The second one, Shaq Barrett baits Justin Fields and picks it off. Sink or swim, playing aggressive. Don't be conservative. I just don't understand that mindset from Luke Getsy. I get it, you're trying to win. I think you got a better chance of winning being aggressive with Justin Fields. When he let it rip in that game, he threw the ball pretty well. Like, I would much rather him throw a pick downfield than Shaq Barrett tip a screen to himself and pick it off for a game-sealing pick six. I mean, that is agonizing. And you know what else it is? You lose an evaluation opportunity. Fields getting the ball down 3 in a game he has struggled in mightily. If he could go finish that game, drive him down to win, back-to-back touchdowns, like, that's something to build on. But instead, we've got this sour taste in our mouth, and you didn't even give yourself the opportunity to see if that could have happened. Very frustrating. I have no faith in Luke Getsy at this point. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's Overreaction Monday. We'll be back in a few hours, 3 or 4 o'clock Central Time, depending on timing, for our Monday live show. So join us for that. Myself, producer Rolly, will be ready to rock. And again, appreciate all the new subscribers. If you haven't hit that sub button yet, please do so. We'll see you next time.